Welcome to the Screen Rot Podcast. The podcast where we discuss the weirdest worst contents that
You're going to do it all? We'll be here for a fucking ages. You've got a train to catch.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Screen Rot Podcast, the podcast where we discuss the weirdest and worst content that's promoting our screens and indeed our minds. Shout out to everyone who subscribes to us on Apple, on Spotify, especially on YouTube. Big shout out to the patrons, those who pay $5.99 a month. The Illuminati, they got a free hat. They get a free episode of this podcast, an extra episode that you idiots don't get. They're getting that every week. The Freemasons are getting that as well, and they get priority access to all of our live events. Massive shout out to Eugene, he runs our Twitter. He might be God. Happy birthday for the 25th, mate. And finally, a massive shout out to the ladies who listen, who are some of the most gorgeous and sexy ladies that I've ever seen in the United Kingdom. Big wink and a kiss to you. Mwah! I'm here with Jake Farrell.
The week before Christmas, the Screen Rot a week before Christmas. I think this time last year we were talking about the one and only Bootlegger.
Yeah.
We had a couple of weeks off last Christmas. That's how much of a different place the podcast was in then. We just didn't do it for a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
But now, look at us now.
New
studio. You've got that's kind of effectively SponCon what you're drinking there, isn't it?
It's not quite SponCon. What happened? Forgot the geezer's name. Is it Chris Williams?
Chris Williamson, yeah.
Right, Chris Williamson. He's selling out the Apollo. We did an episode on Jake Humphrey. The clips did quite well. We were taking a mick out of Jake Humphrey and his world-class basics.
Like Jake.
Chris Williamson found the clips, liked the clips, followed the account, got into the pod. Some people might say Chris Williamson actually makes kind of similar content to Jake Humphrey.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Maybe slightly wishful thinking on Chris's part. It's a lot of self-help. A lot of self-help gear.
I don't think so. I think it's legitimately smart stuff from a smart guy who's using the power of his mind to really focus on productivity and better himself.
He's fucking jacked as well.
He is, yeah. I'm scared of him. No, he sent me some free drinks. Now, anyone who's accusing us of accepting those drinks so that Chris and his podcast can have impunity from the wrath of the Screen Rot world, I refute that, brother. Cheers.
Yeah, how in terms of they say how much are you worth? How much is your indecent proposal limit? It turns out for us it's 3 cases of energy drinks.
3 cases of energy drinks or some potions that make my fringe stay on.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice hairline and a bit of energy in the afternoon. I'm yours, brother. No, it's good stuff. I've got to be honest with you. I've had 2 coffees today and this, and I think
is it a caffeinated
minutes,
thing?
Oh yeah.
How's your water intake? We spoke a couple of weeks ago about you not.
Oh, no water December.
Well, no.
Yeah. Me and Kane are doing no water December. Me and my pal Kane for the month of December. We don't drink water. We just do caffeinated drinks in the morning and alcoholic drinks in the evening.
Oh, is that actually true? I thought that was a joke.
No, yeah, we do it.
You're doing it?
Yeah, and then we have our first glass of water on Boxing Day.
No wonder you've got fucking fuck ticker.
Huh?
No wonder your ticker's all over the gaff.
Do you think I was joking with that?
Yeah, I thought you were joking. It's insane.
No water December.
You don't do that.
I swear on my life, we do.
Oh my God, so you're going to become more unbearable as we get to December.
You're allowed tea and coffee.
Yeah, of course.
No, tea and coffee in the mornings.
They have some water in them, but you're allowed to drink pure water.
Yeah, but Kane kind of cheats because he has fucking peppermint tea or whatever, which is properly hydrating. Whereas I do it proper.
Yeah, you're raw dogging.
Builder's tea and coffee, and then into beer in the evenings.
Okay, right. This does shed a whole new light on your behaviour for the rest of the year. Actually,
it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's one challenge. Yeah, some people do No Nut November. Don't they? Where they don't come
for the whole
month.
Yeah, that's bollocks. No one's doing that. That's can't
Didn't think about doing that?
No, I can't do that.
No.
I
mean, you probably could. You're so dehydrated, it's probably very difficult for you to ejaculate. But there's nothing there.
My little Todger just does a little dusty old burp.
Yeah, it's spurting out new tonics. Yeah, it's like it's got the black lung.
Oh God, how did we get there? Christmas is here, mate. Now, we didn't really discuss it enough on the Tom Skinner episode, the one before we lost 200 patrons.
Yeah.
We didn't discuss Christmas enough. I love Christmas.
Famously.
Fucking love Christmas, man. And this one has started well for me. How's your Christmas? This is going to go out over the Christmas period. Our next episode is going to come out on Boxing Day. And ladies and gentlemen, the next episode is actually going to be the live episode that we recorded on the 8th of December at the Bill Murray. And what a fucking laugh.
What a show that was, by the way.
It went off. We're recording before that. What's your Christmas looking like? How's your Christmas shaping up this year?
We're going to have to cut that out because you're going to be dead of dehydration before the live show anyway. My Christmas shaping up this year with the in-laws, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day.
I just realised. So I can do all of December on this because it's caffeinated.
You could do new tonics, yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
It's good news. Not good news for your significant other or me in terms of getting any admin out of you, but yeah, good news for you, for your energy, I suppose. You don't like sleep anyway, do you? Christmas, this year we're up there, yeah, going up there, up to the in-laws. Yeah. I've been charged with bringing the cheese.
Bringing the cheese?
Yes.
Bloody hell, you've got some serious in-laws. If cheese has to be brought...
Well...
If that's like...
We have a joke.
They can't just purchase some cheese and you all eat it together. You have to bring it.
What do you mean?
It's like
my offering to the Christmas.
Your piece.
They're capable of buying cheese.
Please,
they know what cheese is.
Please take the Stilton, Daddy. Don't curse me, Daddy.
Look, if I would bring more.
Fucking Oliver Twist.
I offered to bring more. I've been bargained down to the cheese.
What were you trying to bring?
I wanted to bring all of the veg and booze. That was my offer. I've been bargained down to cheese.
What do you mean, bring it?
What are you having trouble with here? What do you mean, bring it? When you go round someone's house for dinner, you would bring something, wouldn't you?
A bottle? Like you bring a bottle of wine. I wouldn't bring dinner.
I know, but
I wouldn't bring some of the food. That's mad.
No, it's not. You bring dessert around people's house all the time.
Who cooks out of the man?
The man or the woman? My mother-in-law and father. Emma's mum cooks.
Right. Would she not? Would you cook these vegetables before you brought them?
No. I would bring the I'm staying there for 2 days over the Christmas period. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. I just told you that.
Yeah.
I'm bringing an offer. I wanted to bring something.
It's the offering. It's the way you're phrasing it.
Not offering. That sounds too religious.
You sound like she sounds like an Aztec god.
No, she's not.
And you sound like someone who lives in a rainforest who's trying to stop the rain from coming. Like,
here's some sprouts.
Take the carrots, protect the crops.
Look, when you go around someone's house, I remember my mum and dad would this is maybe revealing too much. My mum and dad would have Christmas round our house every year. We had Christmas round our house like basically for 10 years.
Who would come?
Auntie and uncle, cousins, and one or both sets of grandparents before they all died.
So you properly really host.
They were really hosting boy.
Yeah.
And they used to... I think there would always be some portioning out of what people would bring. My auntie's a really good baker. She'd bring all the desserts and cakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think they still felt that as we grew older then, and as we became like adults with our own jobs, we would still just go home, but our mum and dad would pay for everything like we were still children. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so eventually,
that's still.
Do you think that's still appropriate? Do you? You just
yes.
This is what I'm struggling to get through to you because you're like, yeah, your mum pays for everything, right?
But I pay for everything for my kids.
Yeah, but your
and
kids,
then when they
your
have
kids are kids.
Huh?
Your kids are kids.
But I will do it when they're adults.
Right.
I'll do it
until they've got their own kids.
No, well, but even then, I'll pay.
Right. Okay. This is a very specific code. I'm not saying my mum and dad are forcing me to like pay for the electric when I go round or whatever. They're not saying leave 3 or 4 quid. I'm just saying sometimes I bring dessert. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why can't you understand this?
We'll get you from the station. Bit of petrol money if you don't mind, though, Jay.
They're like Emma's mum and dad are the same. They're generous people. I'm saying to Emma's mum, let me bring all the booze and all the veg. She wouldn't have it. She just said bring some cheese. It's a cheaper thing.
But this is what I think is happening.
What do you think's happening? I'm going round someone's house for Christmas.
No. I think what you're doing. I think you're being overly conscious of them buying things for you. So you're trying to drive up the fucking motorway with like a boot full of carrots, where her mum's been like, why can't he just let me fucking cook him dinner? And she's probably said to the husband, she's probably been like, oh God, he's so insistent on bringing stuff. We've got so much stuff. Like they're boomers. They've got all the money in the fucking world. They're they're looking at rental properties all year. They're not trying to fucking. Of course they've got enough. Carrots.
It's not a money thing.
No, it's not. It's not consciously a money thing, but I think subconsciously, and I think you're confusing a slightly different thing, which is less about bringing things for everyone to eat, and it's more about divvying up the cooking. Like your auntie, when she was doing the baking of the puddings, it wasn't that she was like, well, I'm going to be round there eating for 2 days. I should at least bring a fucking trifle. It's like, no, Jake's mum will be busy doing the turkey.
Yes.
Let me prepare the dessert.
God, maybe
Whereas what's happened with Emma's parents, I think this is one of the few instances where I'm actually correct. Is I think what's happened with Emma's parents is they probably had a conversation where they're like, God, this fucking...
He won't stop.
He's from Stevenage. This must be a thing there where they just turn up with Brussels sprouts. It's probably turnips where they're from.
But you can't volunteer to bring the turkey because that looks like your fucking that looks like your big daddy ding dong then, doesn't it?
You don't bring anything.
Huh?
You don't bring anything.
You do bring something.
You're a guest. You just arrive, you eat, you say thank you very much, and you bring a bottle. You don't bring food.
You bring a bottle
That's
of
mad.
you bring a bottle of wine that you drink yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You're never coming around my house for Christmas, you fucking stingy cunt.
Okay, so here's my Christmas setup.
Right.
We'll start in a second.
Oh.
My
Like Robbie
Christmas
Williams, that
setup.
was.
Yeah, my Christmas setup is I've got the mother-in-law.
What does she bring?
Fuck all.
And you're
I'll tell you
annoyed
that
about
for free.
it.
I'm not annoyed about it. I'm a bit annoyed about it because she's the upper generation. She's supposed to provide. I sound like Tony Soprano. You're supposed to fucking provide. What the fuck is wrong with you?
In this house, Alana's mum is a fucking hero. Let's hear the story.
Anyway, we had a nice plan. Last Christmas was fucking banging. So good. All round ours. Mother-in-law was there. She went to bed at 4. It was a dream. No, she did.
In the afternoon?
Yeah, it was weird.
Did you ply her with booze or was she just knackered?
I don't know. Mental health.
Okay.
No, she was. I don't know. But we had like loads of mates around, and we all got hammered. We were up till 1 a.m. We were making. This is how drunk we were. We were like students. We were making cocktails out of filter coffee to keep us awake for longer.
You told us this story last year.
Yeah, the new
refreshing
listeners,
people,
they
right?
can have it. Yeah, of course. That's the whole point. You just same gear. And nearly gear. Fucking hell. There was one point. I think I've mentioned this on the pod before.
You had a thought, didn't you?
Oh my God! I mean, my son was tiny at the time, as was my mate's son, and we ended up in my spare room. Me,
Proper
my
house
mate, and then our other mate Luke. Both of our sons, they're babies just on our laps. We were like, fucking hell. Luke was having a ciggy out the window, and I was like, I've got some stuff left over for my birthday. And we were like, we could. Oh, we can't. But the 2 seconds the 2 seconds if we could was like.
Doesn't feel great.
Oh, anything's possible, and then whoa. Anyway, no, we didn't do anything.
What's on the docket this year then?
Well, we were supposed to go around. It was like I'd hosted last year, so it was my mate and his family were going to host all of us this year, and Luke and Ollie will turn up, blah blah. And then the mother-in-law was coming. It's fine. We can just bring her to Matt's house. And then a few weeks ago, my girlfriend got a call from her sister, who lives in Ireland, who has 4 young children.
How young are we talking?
Ranging from 4 to 11.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Now, I didn't say that. That's the thing.
I said that.
That's the thing. When Alana said to me, hey, imagine if like my sister came here with her partner and all the kids.
Imagine
if they came here. I didn't say Jesus Christ.
No.
And then when she was like, she's actually looking at flights. I didn't say Jesus Christ then.
No.
And then when she was like, yeah, she won't stay with us. Obviously, that'd be mad. But she's actually booked like somewhere just round the corner, and she'll be with us for the whole of
Christmas. The kids will be here basically all the time.
At no point did I say Jesus Christ. I just kept going. And every detail, like when she initially said, "What if my sister came?" I was just smiling.
You're laughing.
I was laughing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And every time she told me another detail, my smile grew wider and wider.
Yeah, every child that gets added to the list.
New teeth growing, so I could smile more.
So that's what's on the docket.
And I think,
and you're not going to ask them to bring a thing. You're going to provide.
Mate, what? Would you mind flying from fucking Donegal with some sprouts? Obviously
They can
not.
buy it when they get here.
Nuts. What do you mean when they get here?
Get them to get some cheese. There's a cheesemonger around by you,
guests.
isn't there?
They're guests.
I don't like that, man.
They're guests. I will provide everything, and when I go there, they do the same.
Yeah. Class A drugs included.
Her fucking boyfriend. Husband, I should say. Oh, my word. He will lead me astray. Right, let's get into this. Is there anything else I need to say about Christmas? Not really. I hope it's noted that I've been very good about the whole thing.
What, this podcast?
No. About like her.
Right.
I've been really good.
I don't know, if Alana were to be listening to this, we have no idea, obviously. You have been very good. No one could say you haven't been. No one. No one who's being reasonable could say that you haven't been very good about the whole thing.
And Arsenal playing Ipswich on the 27th.
Yes.
And if I were to go out and, I don't know, not come home.
Yeah, in a way that might be kind of balanced, really, mightn't
End up in a warehouse in Tottenham.
Yeah. It wouldn't be the end of the world,
I
would
think
it?
it'd be worth everyone remembering how good I've been about
Yeah,
things.
I'll remember it. I've got it in my head. You've been very good. Very good
Anyway,
indeed.
Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen.
We hope you have a lovely Christmas,
For
Rotters.
everyone who listens to this, genuinely Merry Christmas. You've all been very good to us this year. We appreciate you all so much.
I'm about to get a divorce because I've just called Emma's parents stingy cunts on the podcast, according to Jacob. So that's great.
If he and I ever
It's going to be a tough Christmas for me.
If he and I ever have dinner together, I don't know if there'll be anything on the table because one of us will be trying to bring it. The other one will be insisting the other one doesn't bring it. Take away. Oh, I'll send you a Monzo link to split it afterwards. But now,
that's not what it. No. Anyway.
Last week, I think. Look, it was a fucking tough episode. We walked a tightrope of trying not to side with any xenophobia. We don't think Tom Skinner's ever been xenophobic. We kind of love Skinner, but
we'll have been told by now if he is.
Yeah, we know. And also, he kept saying he was going to put us in a van.
Yeah.
This week, I think.
We don't like GB News, just to clarify.
Yeah, I forgot he'd been on that.
Who cares? Everyone's been on it.
I've been offered to be on it.
Have you?
Yeah, I haven't done it, but
No, it's a difference.
This I would never do it. I want to make that fucking clear.
Because the pay's not good enough.
150 quid
For what?
a day.
A day? Not great.
Ladies and gentlemen, this week I don't think there's going to be any dispute over how we handle this topic.
There's no ambiguity here.
We know what you want.
Yes.
We've been talking to you for a while now. We've met a lot of you. We know what you want. You want to see someone who's got money, who's got a weird accent, and who's got a dreadful sense of dress. You want them to get two-footed, and this week we've got our pads on, we've got our shin pads on.
Yeah.
Just as the British and the Germans on Christmas Day, 1944, all those years ago, on Christmas Day,
Definitely wasn't the Second World War, but go on.
was it not?
It was the First World War, yeah.
I guess they would have had guns and stuff, Second World War, wouldn't they?
Sorry, what?
Someone would have shot the ball.
They have guns. You know they have guns in the First World War. You know they had guns in the First World War.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Let's get started quick. The rest is history. The rest is bloody bollocks.
This week we're talking about the captain of the good ship Brewdog, the pirate-in-chief, the equity punk, Mr. James Ward. Oi. Get on this.
Very excited to, mate. Very excited to. One more time for 2024.
James Watt, former CEO of Brewdog and the self-declared captain of the pirate ship Brewdog, is, without question, the most pathetic and embarrassing, cringy man that has ever been part of British popular culture.
Now, do you think... and look, we're going to do a proper yearly rundown when we do the Rotties.
Yes.
Is this the most embarrassing guy we've covered in 2024?
This is the most embarrassing guy of all time, I think. This is a man who is like a Muse album brought to life. He is a kind of remnant of the like Epic Bacon days. Do you remember that kind of vibe?
Oh, yes.
He's very Epic Bacon.
Facebook.
He's very Facebook. And he is also like, and this is increasingly difficult as well. Like, I watched the documentary about Brewdog. It's a really good documentary on the BBC called Disclosure, The Secrets Behind Brewdog or something like that. Lots of the people that worked for him, particularly in America, particularly women, would you believe, told a very kind of, like, not criminal tale of what he'd done, but like, this is someone who, I'm not sure how much female attention he maybe had growing up.
Right.
And then maybe got some female attention when he had shitloads of money or certain kinds of female attention, and then misconstrued that and then put a lot of his employees in very difficult and kind of strange situations, shall we say, in America.
Right.
Again, not kind of, no one alleges anything criminal, but I think a very odd guy. And I think in that respect, he is like the perfect emblem of those times, really. The beginning of the kind of early days of stunts on the internet, how pathetic they were, and how things that can like superficially maybe appear cool for like a second then inevitably eat themselves to death, like the kind of snake eating its own tail. And it's a really cautionary tale, I think, for the internet. Like, it just, I don't really even know like how much kind of anything positive to say about him, really. I can't think of one thing.
When you say he's a cautionary tale, because I don't, I've got to be honest, I didn't know he was that internet. It was only when you showed me some of his content.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was doing much content. I didn't know he was doing much stuff. But I guess everyone kind of is now, aren't they?
Yeah, and Brewdog kind of made their name, and this is what's so pathetic. Brewdog made their name. I mean, they called themselves punks. I think basically unless you're literally in a hardcore punk band, you shouldn't do that.
I think
never looks good.
I think if you're registered on Company House, avoid calling
Tough
yourself a punk. If you're a limited company,
yes.
If you're VAT registered, I don't know if you're very punk.
Yes.
Do you know, if every quarter you're going through receipts, can we? Woo!
Yeah, and like I think it's a cautionary tale insofar as like. They became famous off the back of stunts that were kind of on like YouTube. It's like before Instagram and stuff. We're going to watch one of them in a minute.
Are they a bit like Mr. Beast kind of stunts?
Kind of, yeah. Like weird kind of like sticking it to the man kind of shit. And in all of this, he decided that his trademark was going to be to wear a flat cap, which is unbelievable. He often will go for the baggy beanie as well. Shout out Andrew Kerr. And it's just like an unbelievably cringe guy, and a cautionary tale because they got big by doing all of these stunts. There was kind of this growing appetite for like beers that didn't taste like lager. Don't know why. God knows why.
I don't know why.
And they were on the back of that. They also did this thing called Equity for Punks, which is a crowdfunding basically to be a part of the business. And they attracted lots of other Six Music listening, mouth breathing Stuart Lee fans to become part of the, as they called it, pirate ship crew. Other people that wear kind of messenger bags, Gola trainers, that kind of thing. People that like American football like they do. People that have got their favourite brand of wing sauce. They attracted loads of other lads like that to invest in their company. And obviously then, they sold them on, we're punks, fuck Heineken, fuck the man, fuck private equity. And then the first chance they got, they sold them all out and sold the company to private equity. And he is now a kind of tens of millionaire off the back of that. And I suppose like that's the cautionary tale. Also, like, if you ever believed that the bloke who's listening to Muse and wearing a flat cap wasn't going to sell out to private equity, again, I've got beachfront property in Romford that you can take off my hands. Like it, and so like he behind all of the cringiness, there is a calculating, horrible businessman who is gone from that very quick arc from like, oh, these are a cool upstart company to, oh, he's just the same as everyone else. Capitalism is what it always has been.
So what can I just quickly ask, because I didn't know a lot of that story. The people that did buy in through the Equity for Punks thing, people that were somehow shareholders through the crowdfunding thing, what happened to them when they sold out? Did they turn a profit on what they'd put in?
I think like there's no question of that. Like people definitely make money. They go into it. There's a very interesting setup in the share structure of the company. God, this is the first time we've ever gone through share structures on the Screamer podcast. But there's an interesting thing where basically the Equity Punks shares are not of the same class of shares. There's a common arrangement in businesses, but basically the Equity Punks don't get paid until private equity has made 20% on their investment. Or I think 18%, basically. And so they were kind of like, buy in, you're one of us, you're one of the lads. And actually, the private equity...
You're not a Class A share.
No, you're not a Class A share. You're a mouth-breathing Stuart Lee fan that lives in Northampton.
And the tobacco farm owners who bought into the company, they're going to get their 20%.
They're going to get their 20% first.
Sniff.
That's the most punk thing there is.
Woohoo, by the way, rock and roll. Okay.
And so that's how it works. And we'll start with this video. This is kind of a long video. I don't think we're going to watch all of it, but this is one thing that they became slightly famous for, where they did a stunt the stunt was called Death to the Fat Cats. This is before they sold out to private equity, in case you were wondering. This is the kind of punky, spiky attitude that the Brewdog boys had. Great music. They're in London.
At Brewdog, we've been ripping up the rule book since day one.
Our business is owned by the people who love our beers.
Have you ever stolen a helicopter?
Never.
They're faking stealing a helicopter.
Equity for Punks is not about tinkering with the established order.
We
got a chain round his neck.
Dynamite.
They've got a Brewdog helicopter, and they've got some dead
We're
cats or
pioneering
fake
a new
dead pets.
generation of business model.
One that keeps the passion and integrity in the beer glass and puts the people who really care in control.
They're flying over the city of London in a helicopter. It's got his flat cap on, just in case you're wondering.
Our mission has been to make other people as passionate as we are about fantastic beer. Equity for Punks makes that possible.
The weather is changing. It's about to rain fat cats.
And they're chucking out cats onto the fat cats. Stunning visual metaphor there. Little parachutes on them. Hilarious music. This was how they marketed the share off. Now they're landing. Oh my God, look at this.
A new dawn for beer and a new dawn for small business finance.
This is Equity for Punks.
Now.
There's a
Dog ripping up one of the cats.
Teddy bears.
Does that make you want to part with your savings to become an equity punk?
there is something so tangible about the vibe of that video.
The vibe is potent, isn't
Do
it?
you know when that was made?
It was. It's like 2009. It was quite a long time ago.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. That checks.
That's 2009.
Checks out.
Yes, that is very 2009. The way they're dressed, the way there's also they feel like kind of characters in Peep Show who'd only be around for an episode or two, who Jez would get quite involved with, and then it would turn out their parents are Nazis or something. Do you know what I mean?
That's so mad you said that, because I was going to say this feels like something that Mark would do in Peep Show.
Yeah,
like,
maybe
trying to be cool. Like
yeah.
It is the uncool.
Let's show the fat cats what a cat really looks like.
It is the like the definition of uncool people trying to, when they get a chance to try and be cool, they think sunglasses, rock music, and helicopters.
Yeah, and there was also like a movement he did there. He's like, I can't remember what he said. He's like, we're going to show the establishment.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I mean, to be really honest with you, I didn't really know anything about this guy until you showed me it. But I knew that he was being parodied by Alistair Green.
Yes.
You know Alistair Green, who does Punk Squirrel
Punk
IPA.
Squirrel IPA, yeah.
Right. And I'd never actually seen what he was parodying.
Right.
It's mental how close to it he actually is.
It's actually one of them where it's like, again, if like, or maybe it's more like a Mitchell and Webb. If Mitchell and Webb were still doing their sketch show now, that's the sketch they would make about a punk craft beer company.
Yeah, I mean, it's also it's littered with kind of like nonsense. Like, you know, how punk is it to be able to afford to hire a helicopter?
Yeah,
like, that video would have cost them $100,000.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's also, there was something about the cinematography and the way it was shot and what they were wearing and the music in the background. I was like, this feels like a Top Gear challenge.
It
do
does.
you know what I mean? There's something about, there was loads of establishing shots.
Yes.
Top Gear would always do that, wouldn't it? It's you wouldn't see much of the car.
We're in the Alps.
Yeah. We're filming in Brecon Beacons. And you just see loads of hills. It's like, oh, I nearly saw the 911 there. Do you know what I mean? I nearly saw the Porsche. Yeah, exactly. James May enjoying the car. Hills. It felt really like that. And I was just like, I mean, it's kind of around the time of the credit crunch.
Yeah, not long after, yeah.
I mean, it goes to show. It's funny, I was having this conversation with Jeff Norcott about, like, you know, he was like, the credit crunch wasn't bad for everyone. And I was like, wow, I remember my family were really fucked by the credit crunch.
Right.
We
Had
personally...
shares and stuff.
No, we didn't have shares. We had moved into a house with the kind of idea of extending it.
Right.
And so, as many people did back then, extensions, I feel like extensions were a real thing in the late noughties.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, it was much easier you couldn't afford large houses, but you could afford smaller houses and borrow money to put bits of air on them.
So that's what we were doing. So it was like, my mum was like, we're going to get a new kitchen. We've got a new kitchen. Oh my God, I've chosen a new kitchen. Like, you know, that was a mad thing for my mum. Like, I've picked what's going to be on my kitchen. I've chosen the colour of my kitchen. I've chosen the tiles of my kitchen. We've got a lovely new kitchen. And then what happened was they started doing it. Credit crunch happened. I think my dad didn't quite lose the job, but it was like he was made self-employed.
Right.
So you know, we were like, how old would I have been at the time?
Kind of like, I guess, coming up to sixth form age, really? Like, yeah.
A bit younger than that, I think.
14, 15 maybe?
Maybe somewhere around there. Maybe even younger than that. But we we just ended up where they have to dig the foundations to do the extension. So we just had loads of like ditches. They'd pulled up the tiles of what was the patio of the garden, and there was just all these ditches with these really sharp spikes.
Ideal.
Because you know those metal spikes that hold the foundations of the house in. They were just that, but they had to just stop work. My parents had no more money for them to keep working. It was like builders that my dad was mates with. I remember a guy called Jekyll just had to Jekyll's not going to come around for a while, so we've got to be careful. We had sausage dogs at the time.
I was going to say, that looks like a machine designed to kill a sausage dog.
Every morning, like 13 years old, every morning I'd get up and have to run downstairs because the dogs would need a piss. I have to carry them over these
the gladiators course of
ditches. It looked like my dogs were doing like what's that like game show?
Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, it looked like my dogs were doing Takeshi's Castle to go for a shit in the garden. Yeah, it's like But I mean, that was our credit crunch,
was our
whilst
credit
these guys have managed to find a load of people to invest in APE.
But there's something particularly contemptible and craven about exploiting the feeling of after the credit crunch, which was, if you don't remember at the time, it was the time of like the 1%, and there was the protests We Are the 99%.
Like the bankers. It was real. The bankers have done this to us. We hate the bankers.
These big institutions have fucked us over. And there's one thing to like make a company or whatever. It's another thing to exploit that feeling of resentment and disgust that you've been fucked over, and say, we're going to do our company differently. We're completely different to everything. And that's what you're investing in. Yeah. Best case scenario, they are greedy incompetents that didn't know that they were going to fuck people over, but then decided to anyway once they got a sniff of it. Worst case scenario, and it's impossible to know. I would go in this game. It was always the plan, 100%. And like it is a testament to how people get taken in by this shit. If you watch that video, there's no, like, with the benefit of hindsight, maybe there's no way ever that you go, yeah, these guys are for real. They're going to become a workers' cooperative. Like, it's fucking bullshit.
I know what you mean.
Like,
I know what you mean.
They have
in the way that, like, looking back now, the idea of Kamala Harris being the president of America
it's
feels
like
fucking insane. Like,
you're telling me there was
happen.
people watching that video of the geezer with a chain around his neck in a helicopter going, yeah, these are the good guys.
Yeah. I reckon when these guys sell like 1 million beers, they'll probably just give me like 250,000.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah, and now it's
have you ever robbed a helicopter before?
Yeah, all right, I want to be on this team. I think it's instructive, though, because they are a company that made their name on being spiky and angry towards received institutions, and then they sold out for big money, which is exactly what we want to do. So ideally, we would follow the Brewdog playbook.
That's true.
How can we sell this off to Spotify and become a vehicle to advertise erectile dysfunction tablets?
Okay. Here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
No, we are actually anti that.
Anti money.
Yeah,
we're definitely anti-money. The hats. I've seen the hat spreadsheet.
You know, like every stupid decision we've made that slowed things down for us and made our growth worse. We actually did that deliberately. You know when I got pissed and lost all of our hats and had to pay for a new order of hats?
That's actually business.
I was actually doing that because I'm a communist.
Yes.
I was actually doing that to help out you guys, to stop us selling out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know everything that we do, you know like how we constantly talk about paedophile hunters and cuckolding and everything like that?
Yeah.
I actually do that to scare off advertisers so that you guys don't have to... You know, like when we say we're going to talk about a topic and then I just go on about the death of the high street for half an hour and how I've been following Turkish men around Holloway.
Yes.
That's to make sure that you guys never have to listen to a Manscaped ad. So if you want, go and listen to Mike and Vittorio, and you can listen to Vittorio talk for 3 minutes about how you should shave your bollocks. Or you could stick with the good guys over here who actually think Tom Skinner should run the country.
And look, we're not saying that we want to have a right-wing government that should become
Like, I don't know.
We just need one strong leader. From Essex.
Strong leader, cup of tea, fish and chips and stoning.
Look, would a war with the French be that bad?
No, I know what you mean, but we have actually. I'm not going to go into details of it, but we have kind of pushed away from big production, the idea of anyone else getting involved and making this a thing where people listen to more adverts, and we have deliberately gone down a Patreon model where people who get it get more of it, don't have to listen to any shit.
Yeah.
As soon as someone said to us, "There's too many adverts on the YouTube," we slowed that down.
We shit ourselves.
Yeah, we did shit ourselves. And we
sorry, we'll send you that.
Ultimately, we will do whatever you want. If you want us in a helicopter throwing teddies at people, we'll fucking do it. But
we're the Bevos of the podcast world. And not because we're cucks, but because we'll do anything for content.
I don't know. I mean, you know this guy a lot better than I do. And I want to watch the next clip in a moment. But I have a slightly more... I just think anyone can be corrupted by money. I do believe that. I do believe anyone will get beaten by it eventually. I do believe everyone will sell out. Everyone has a price.
Yes.
And this guy is insanely rich.
Yeah, they both the founders. At the point that private equity bought into their business, they received £50 million cash each.
Wow.
So yeah, he's rich.
I mean, at that point, you're hearing about Manscaped.
Yeah.
Like, if someone walks in that door right now with 50 million cash, I'm fucking shaving on
Well,
camera.
I did think as well. So, you know, Jimmy Bullard's just started a podcast.
Okay.
So they've got a presenting sponsor, Brewdog, Lost Lager. Grouchy's podcast, presenting sponsor, Brewdog. So we are ruling ourselves out of that. And
No, because we're lager boys.
yeah,
We are lager. Like, I care about that more than like keeping it real for the patrons. Do you know what I mean? I care about what's the matter, lager boy? Afraid you might taste something. That's my grandfather every time he offers me a fucking ale at Christmas. What's
Yeah.
the matter, lager
we
boy?
have a problem with Brewdog, and it's not because of the allegations of sexual abuse.
No,
on
it's 'cause
their...
they keep putting fucking grapefruit and everything.
So Brewdog went on this arc, right? Or this guy Watt went on an arc, and there was a huge thing in 2022 about how he'd created a culture of fear at his workplace, and about how he'd become a hyper-masculine environment. In America, loads of people came forward, talked to the BBC, said that he had...
Who could have seen that coming? The beer company became a hyper-masculine environment.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But this is the thing, they claimed that they were above that. They claimed that they
Have you
were...
heard that the Tiger enclosure, they really like steak in there?
And it was like, they'd claimed to be really environmentally friendly. They said that they were going to start a forest, and every beer you bought, they would plant a tree. It turned out they'd applied to Scottish government for money to plant the trees. So it turned out it's just the taxpayers paying for it anyway, and people just buying their beer incidentally. Anyway, all of these allegations come out. It's not really a surprise, like you say, looking back on it, that the guy in the flat cap listening to Muse was a tosser. But,
Yeah.
At the time, it was still like, oh, this company that was like a bit brash and did these stunts, they had a bad environment. And what they did then was, in order to kind of combat this this news stories that were coming out, he did a round of interviews on podcasts where he talked about his management style in a bid to try
to defend himself.
trying to defend himself, and maybe be like, no, I am the kind of punky guy.
You don't have to do that. Just
before.
fucking send them a case.
Just send him a case of stuff, and they'll stop talking about it. Or,
I'm on No Water in December.
yeah. Just threaten to put them in the back of a storage unit, and they'll say that you should be the Prime Minister. And this is the clip that came out of him being on this podcast. And by the way, watch this clip. He's trying to come across well in this clip.
Would you say you're a hard boss to work for?
None of that feedback comes from people who actually work directly for me.
Would you say you're a demanding boss?
Are there good football managers who are not demanding? Are there good politicians who are not demanding? Are there good leaders who are not demanding? I don't think so.
This feedback, maybe people have got a bit weak and soft over the last few years.
If you're not happy in a job, if you're not happy in a company, amazing, you're an individual, you've got free will, leave.
So he's going on this podcast with the express intention of being like, all of those allegations about the climate I've created, they're bollocks, by the way, but also everyone's weak and soft, and if you don't like it, fuck off.
You know who don't complain about my management techniques? The hard workers.
Yeah, exactly.
The people who got their bonus this Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, I love that as well. Like, and that's a real insight into people's mindset. The libertarian philosophy, or like the kind of like Norman Tebbit, the Thatcherite minister, famously said, like, if you want work, get on your bike and find it. Like, there's like, in their world, you're just a completely rational consumer of, or like labour person, and you get to dictate the terms of your labour with like whichever company you work for.
Yeah.
Once you start working for a company, there's a huge incentive not to just fuck off at a moment's notice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not people. Do you know what people don't like? Just quitting their job and going and find another one. It's like
it was a really easy thing to do in this economy where you have to pay your rent every month,
Right.
and it's fucking twice the price it was 5 years ago, and there's literally no jobs out there, and if you can't find a job, you have to have a fucking degree that costs
Exactly.
you 50 grand to get it. You know what's an easy thing to do? Just go and look for
Just
another
go
job.
get another one. And it's like that thing of like, he never says like, oh no, we're actually a completely good environment, and like if you like people are just lying. He just says, "I'll just fuck off, find another one then." It's like unbelievable, these people. And that's the same guy that was claiming to like, I'm going to knock Heineken off their put. We're going to do it differently. Yeah. And it's like, it's just, like you say, maybe it is, they never imagined they would get into that position and money just corrupts. Maybe I'm being too harsh.
Again, it's maybe, I don't want to sound like I'm defending the guy, but I do think the problem is everyone who says, I'm going to do it differently, everyone who says, I'm going to operate, like, the system's shit and we're going to operate outside of the system. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's always their fault, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me, and again, I'm fucking... the problem is all of our lot, the lot, and we love them, but the lot that we get, they're all fucking Zone 2 lefty wet wipes, right, who don't like a cup of tea in Stonehenge. And so I want to talk about this, but I'm worried that they're going to get annoyed at me again. But, like, it reminds me of Corbyn a bit.
Right.
Do you remember in the build-up, Corbyn was the anti-politician?
Yes.
Yeah? Corbyn's going to do it differently. He's not like every other politician. It's like, Yeah, but he does still have to do politics.
Yes.
And so he's just going to come across like a bad politician because he can't do politics as well as David Cameron.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean by that? And that's not me saying that Corbyn's shit or he's a bad guy or anything like that. My point is like ultimately, if you hold your hand up and be, I'm the guy who's going to do things differently, or I'm the woman who's going to do things very differently, what's very hard is often the systems and establishments that are out there, they don't. The reason they exist is because they've got a monopoly and they don't allow space for people to do things differently. I don't doubt that he might have had the intention, when he's listening to Muse and he's got his hat on and his sunglasses, we are going to do things cool, man, and punk APA and rock on, and if you want 3 weeks paternity leave, you do it, man.
Yes.
And then,
That was actually a thing, by the way.
More paternity leave.
Yeah, more paternity leave and they fucked everyone over, yeah.
Yeah, but because someone has to do the job.
Well...
I agree with you. If you hold your hand up and say, I'm going to do it differently, and then you don't, you absolutely deserve to be chastised.
Yeah.
I do imagine that if you could see the inner workings of what was going on, there would have been a point where he'd have gone, I'd like to authorise your paternity leave. Someone has to make the beer. And I don't know who's going to do it if you
that's not the choice, though.
Okay.
That is one version of the choice.
By the way, I know fuck all about it.
But the other version, I don't know specifics on the paternity, but the other version of that choice is, I would love to authorise your paternity leave, but I will get less money.
That would, yeah.
Not that it doesn't work, that he will get less money.
That's the problem. And that doesn't apply to Corbyn necessarily, although I do hear he got 50 million payoff, but no, I'm joking.
And look, I voted for Corbyn twice, and I don't regret doing it insofar as, at the time, I think it was the right decision because both of those candidates were absolutely shite. But there was a point where the Vice documentary came out about him, and I watched it, and I was like, what have I fucking done here? Where it was like you say, being an outsider in a system that's kind of fucked and you want to change is quite good. In a way, like, I think Donald Trump, that's a lot of his allure to people, right? Is he's outside of the system, but he knows at least how to play the system.
But the irony is he's outside of a system that he's already won. Do you know what I mean? Like
right.
He's a multi-millionaire. The system has served him quite well. And now he's going, hey guys, how fucked is this system? And it's like, I think the system paid for your weird hair.
Yeah, your
mean?
boxy suits.
Exactly, yeah. But I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, so it's like, I think Corbyn is a decent analogy, but I do think that he was someone...
He died on principle, whereas these guys have died on profit.
I agree with that. And I also think, by the way, I'm not a Corbyn apologist now insofar as a lot of people will just say, well, the system fucked him and there's nothing he could have done. There's loads of stuff he could have done. He made loads of tactically shit decisions, and I don't care what people say. It wasn't just that the system was out to get him.
Yeah.
And I think it's similar for these two. It's difficult, like, to shoehorn, to make your business successful in the world that they're operating in, but they also made choices to fuck themselves over effectively, like Corbyn did as well. So I think it's a bit of both.
And also, when you walk away with 50 million quid...
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, that's kind of the story, is like the equity punks into he's a cunt boss and it was a cunt boss all along. Who knew? Like, the old story is the same as the new story. You know, like that meme where it's like the two astronauts on the moon and they're like, what? It's like, is it this capitalism? It's like, same as it ever was. And it shoots you in the back of the head. Like, this, the cunt boss who's told you he's a nice boss was a cunt boss. Who knew? Then he's become a social media guy, and we'll look at a couple of things now where he's become
what blows my mind with this is, like, I'm trying to be a social media guy. We're trying to be social media guys with this.
We are social media guys.
We have to.
Yeah. He's got 50 million quid. So, like, this is a video.
I'd never make a fucking reel again.
Yeah, this is a video of him on the Brewdog. We're going to watch two videos here. One of his kind of personal content, one of Brewdog content. This is a video of him reading out mean tweets that people put about his new bar in Waterloo.
We opened a fantastic new location in Waterloo, but people on Twitter didn't like it. Here's a selection of what they had to say. Philip Crowfoot. Why does your pub have a podcast studio? Are you on board?
Nothing wrong with that, by the way, Phil.
Yes, Philip, I am.
Not funny? Not even
Jack
a joke.
O'Toole, I've never wanted an establishment to fall flat in its face as much as I do this place. Jack, our 200 members of staff thank you for your kind words of support.
Shut up, cunt. You don't care about them.
People working there properly. Yes, we are. We pay the real living wage, and we're the only hospitality company to share 50% of our profits with our amazing staff.
Have since stopped paying people the real living wage.
What, and the 50% profit thing? That's got to be bollocks.
Yeah, they share much less than that now.
This is basically what you get if you give a 9-year-old £1 million and told them to design a bar, where it cost 8 and a max then 40. Rachel Jagger says she would rather
That is a
drink
brutal
moonshine
cell
out of a
phone.
woman's hat in a Leeds bus station. It actually sounds like a decent weekend.
Oh, just a
Ed
naturally funny
Warrior
guy.
Said, "You're a dead-eyed piss." I'm not sure what that is, but I assume it's not a compliment. And finally, what an abomination. You, as in me, should go to jail for this.
Go to jail.
I'm off to jail. Peace out.
Oh, peace out. Peace out is
So brutally cringe.
He is such a Peep Show character. Peace out is like, when they wrote that on Peep Show, they'd have gone, no one would actually, a 40-year-old wouldn't actually say that, would they? Well, I guess peace out to you then.
Maybe he's more Jez than Mark, really, and that Jez thinks he's
mate,
cool.
it's so uncool. Well, I think
man.
even Jez would be like cool enough to like by the sort of like 22-minute mark of the episode, it'd be like, I need to stop hanging out with this
Yeah,
guy.
exactly, yeah.
It's so fucking pathetic, man.
And the like I said, the self-owns in there where he's like, this looks like it would cost £1 million and designed by a 9-year-old, and he's like, it actually cost £8 million and I'm 40.
Yeah. So, actually, just to break it down for you, James, that makes it worse. It makes it worse.
You're
Because you
40.
spent more than what he thought, and he was saying a 9-year-old would do this because 9-year-olds don't know what they're doing when they're designing bars. And you'll go, well, I'm 40 actually. It's like, well, that makes you thick.
Yeah. That was also the only time when he's like, somebody's called me a dead-eyed piss chimp. That is something that a Brewdog fan would say. That's like you, sir, a cockwomble of the highest order. It's so brutal. And this is, again, I mean, we've been very personal already, but like...
I don't want to be personal.
He don't want to be personal. But he's like, obviously he feels like he needs to be in front of a camera.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone more off-putting. People are going to comment on this, but I've never seen someone more like off-putting or like you don't want to watch them. He's so uncomfortable.
Awkward.
He's so awkward.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
man,
everything
it's
feels
bleak.
kind of very very deliberate. The rolled up sleeves on the t-shirt.
Backwards hat.
Man. But again, it's so close to the Alistair Green character.
Yeah.
It's mad. And like also, like the bar itself. Have you ever been in there?
I've never been in there. I saw all this stuff when it came out because it had a slide in it and a podcast studio and everyone ripped it to shit. I've never been in there.
It is just... It's so soulless.
Right.
You know? It's so soulless.
Yeah.
And it's so, like... I think it tells you everything about... Like, let's try and distill. You mentioned it a couple of times there, what a Brewdog guy is.
Yes.
Right? It's early 40s.
Yes.
It's too into coffee. Do you know what I mean? Can tell you too much about the beans.
Yeah.
It's kind of centrist dad, left centre politics that isn't really progressive enough to create any kind of change.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just got on the housing market, but understands it's tough for everyone else. do you know what I mean?
Yes, it is. Yeah, like I said, Stuart Lee fan. It is
Chinos at a birthday party.
Six Music vibes.
Yeah. It's progressively minded but never uncomfortable.
Yes.
You know, it's
Yeah.
comfy. It's having a good.
Do you think there are any Brewdog guys that? Because at one point it was like a positive that, like, again, you wanted to associate with the brand. I don't know. I mean, they're still mega successful. So I feel like the brand can't be genuinely toxic, but they can't. I don't know if the Brewdog guys exist anymore, like explicitly, where they would reference themselves as Brewdog guys.
No, I think it's known as an embarrassing thing.
Yeah.
I think it's like I've got to be honest with you. I don't mind drinking their beer sometimes.
No, I don't either.
Quite like the Lost Lager.
Yeah.
If I'm in front of people who I care what they think of me, I won't order it.
Right.
Because it's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
It's
yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
So you can get their Brewdog IPA at Spoons.
And I have a particularly fond memory of that because just before my granddad died, the last year before he died, he moved to near the Spoons in Stevenage, and he would go to the Spoons
The old
every
post
night.
office.
Yeah. And he would he became. It was like really hilarious. He'd like drunk basically Ruddles or Stella his whole life.
Did you get into this?
And he got into Brewdog IPA aged 82. And like he would say, he would text me or he'd text my mum and say, "I'm off for a punk," and he was saying he was going for a punk IPA. So I have like fond memories in a way of their beer.
Of the brand.
Yeah, but like this guy's so off-putting that it's like you say, it is now embarrassing to even buy it.
It's also like so. there's such a misunderstanding of pub culture
Right.
with it. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what we need in here? A podcast studio.
A podcast studio. Yeah, and it's kind. I mean, like, it's funny when we watch it. I was thinking of shout out Jimmy
Mack, yeah.
Jimmy Mack,
The man, the myth, the legend.
who does London.
I love his stuff.
London Dead Pubs.
Yeah, yeah.
Who reviewed this place, and I think did a
Oh,
really
he
good
did,
job
right.
of describing why it's so kind of like
bleak
and corporate feeling, and also just like not what a pub or a bar should be,
Mm.
you know. And it's like
it is in that weird hinterland between pub and bar, really, isn't it?
it's in the weird hinterland between pub and bar. And I think to get a good bar, it either needs to be very sport focused or kind of not very self-aware and quite mad and uncool.
Yeah, lots of pool tables.
Lots of pool tables. So a bar that I frequent is it's on Holloway Road. Big Red.
Yeah, is that the one that's open really late?
It's open till 4 in the morning at the weekends.
It's like that's why everyone ends up there when they've got nowhere else to go.
It's a rock bar.
A rock bar. That's cool.
Now that's
because it's unselfconsciously.
Because do you know why it's cool?
Because it's not cool.
Because it's incredibly uncool. And it has no idea.
Neon Jack Daniels signs.
Neon Jack Daniels sign. There's a motorbike above the bar.
Yes!
And I went in there with Kid Frankie, and he tried to tell the owner it was his, and it had been nicked. And he was like, "Need to get that down for me. That's mine. Someone stole that last week."
It probably wasn't the weirdest thing that happened to that poor bastard that night, the owner. 4 o'clock in the morning on Holloway Road.
What Kid Frankie did that
Yeah,
night.
you
I
don't
won't
wanna
go into. But it's like. It's not trying to be a thing for it's like it's got its own flavour, and that flavour isn't for certain people.
Yes.
It feels like what Brewdog got wrong is it initially was like, we're going to be different to everyone else, and now it was like, how can we be for you? Do you know what I mean? It's that's what they've kind of bent to, is being like, we're going to be different from everyone else, but please tell us how to be different from everyone else.
Yeah.
And it comes down to, like, you know, when we talk about branding, we're talking about like how to run a business and how to create a product, essentially. You know, you compared us to Brewdog earlier, and here's why we're the real punks of podcasting. Because we won't do what you fucking tell us.
We like Tom Skinner. Get fucked.
But because, like, I do think it's as soon as you do. No one wants to be punk. To call yourself punk is the least fucking cool thing in the world.
Yeah.
And I think also to try and pretend that you want to be above people who've got commercial interests is just bollocks. Like, if you try and be holier than thou and go, we're not going to live by the way other businesses live. We're not going to try and create a product that we're just going to do our own thing, man. It's like, come on, like, get fucked. Like, of course you're not going to do that.
But then this is the thing. So my mate Chris Dodd is the lead singer of a band called Bad Breeding. And
shout out Bad Breeding.
They're a sick band, and they are genuinely punk.
They're punks, yeah.
And he has fucking stuck by it.
Yeah.
And like,
is he suffering?
Well,
no, I'm not saying that in a shitty way, but is he like? I guess. Okay. Here's my question, and this is probably not an easy question for you to answer, being his mate. Would his life be more comfortable if he wasn't a punk?
If he'd written Sweet Caroline instead?
No. But if he wasn't a punk, would his life be more comfortable and easier for him? Because I think that's the question. If the answer is yes, his life would be easier if he wasn't a punk, then he's a punk. I think if your life, if actually being a punk has given you quite a comfortable and easy existence, I don't think you're a punk.
Well, this is the thing. They built into their band model, and this is an interesting question for us. Built into their band model is there's a ceiling on what they can realistically do because of the type of music. It's not a mainstream type of music.
Yeah, got you.
But
oh yeah, the weird punks.
But they do it proper, right? They go around, they stay in squats, they go and perform in warehouses.
Then yeah, their life would be easier if they weren't doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
But they probably have.
How was that a difficult question to answer?
No, but
when I said to you,
I
would
don't
his
think
life
they
be
view
more
it.
comfortable? You were sat there going, when he's in the squat, would it be easier if he was making?
But I don't think they see that as
music?
a. I don't think they see that as a like.
No, they don't. They're fucking mental. They're punks. But of course it would. They're in squats.
Yes, all right. It's easier to be Taylor Swift than my mate Chris. I will agree with you on that.
But not Taylor Swift. Like, just not in a squat.
I think they like that. That's
Of
it.
course they like it. They're dirty fucking punks.
They're not dirty punks. He's a very clean man, actually. That's completely wrong. They're a great band. You should go and listen to them. Bad Breeding album out now. But like, but they commit to the ethos. They commit to the bit.
Comfortable in the squat.
I think
the squat warm.
What I it's not like it. They just stay around people's houses.
It's not a cold squat, it's a warm squat.
I think that what I meant, or my compromise, is that there probably have been times where their music could have been used in things in exchange for money that they've turned down. I know that.
They're punks. They're punks.
Yeah, right. Would we do that?
Breeding. Huh?
Would we do that?
What?
If someone comes to us and says, if Brewdog try and buy us out, they say you can't release this episode, what's the number?
Are you saying would we compromise on our product and what we do and creative decisions based on things people give to us? Let me just think about that. And ironically, I can think about it more clearly. Because my focus is enhanced.
I don't know if there's anything else really to say.
This wild citrus neurotonic drink.
I don't think there's much else to say.
We've got a little bit of where he is now. I don't mind watching a couple of minutes.
Let's finish on this. Yeah.
And I just want people to ask them. And by the way, I didn't get fucking paid for that.
No.
And
we can be bought out much more cheaply than that. We just need the products themselves. We don't need additional money on top. This is James Watt. This is where it was always destined to end up.
This is the punk.
This is the guy
This is the punk.
In video 1 was chucking cats out of a helicopter.
Can we say teddies? Can we say teddies?
Teddies, sorry, yeah, teddies.
On Thursday, we had the first ever Cheap Thursday Club, right here in my home in
Right
London.
here.
There's the punk.
I wanted
In
to
his
do an
penthouse
event
flat.
for people who hate networking. It was intimate, with only 25 amazing entrepreneurs as attendees. We had Stephen
Bartlett's there.
Martin join us as our
Of
special
course he is.
guest, and he did an amazing Q&A with everyone who was here. We also had 2 ice baths on site, and all attendees were encouraged to try cold water immersion.
How good is that?
We even had a head-to-head competition in ice baths to win business investment.
To win business investment.
That sounds safe.
Conversation about business, about life, went on into the small wee hours. The first ever Cheap Thursday Club was a massive success. Can't wait to do it again.
Do you ever look at rich people and think you don't deserve to be rich because the things you're doing with your money are so unfun that you're a waste of it?
It's pathetic.
Ice baths. Ice baths.
Today, Rogan's got a lot to answer for.
You've got to hope. You have got to hope that is all a kind of thing for the camera. Haha, yeah, we're doing ice baths. And in reality, fucking 12 brass get brought in afterwards, and they're slipping around in oil, and there's
Of both genders.
So someone shits on someone, and do you know what I mean? And they do some blood sports at the end of it.
Yeah.
You've got to hope in
when
reality.
you're in the 50 million range, you want dog fighting.
I want fucking
Horse fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want sucking, fucking. I want it to be like ancient Rome. That's a sexy beast quote. But you look at that and you're like, what a and actually, that is actually the truth of a lot of rich people. They are a complete waste of their money.
Yeah, for sure.
And ultimately, and look, with this is coming to people at Christmas, and it's not been an easy year for a lot of people.
Least of all me.
And I think that Christmas is a fucking expensive time, a challenging time, and there'll be times when you'll think to yourself, if I had the money of Chris Williamson,
Yeah.
or if Brewdog Jim,
Brewdog Jim.
would I be able to have a better Christmas? Would I be able to have more fun at Christmas? And do you know what? On Christmas Day, when me and my brother-in-law are sat in my spare room, our son's bouncing on our laps, and we're just poking our head out the window to do a Kia Coke.
Yeah.
I'll say, you know what? I don't need more. I've got enough. I don't need an ice bath.
It doesn't get any better than this. Well, we hope we've given you the Christmas gift that you all wanted in our treatment of that mad Brewdog guy. And
Merry
remember,
Christmas, everyone.
the reason you'll never become rich is because the system will never allow you, because you're a good and normal person. And actually, do you ever were to start becoming rich, that would be a sign that you are being smoothed down, the edges of you are being smoothed down by capital, and you should, in fact, kill yourself. Have a good Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Happy Christmas, and we hope you enjoy the live episode next week.
All the best.